Barclays WSL Week 2 roundup, let's go. Off the weekend, we saw Manchester City host Brighton and Hove Albion at their home ground, the Joy Stadium. The game started off pretty even, with City having a few great shots, however they just couldn't convert them. Both Miedemar and Bunny Shaw put the ball wide on a few occasions and it just showed it wasn't their day. We saw Brighton take an early lead as Frank Kirby slotted the ball home after Kiara Keaton's attempt at saving Michelle Adjumang's shot. City came out strong in the second half and it wasn't long before we saw Bunny Shaw perform a diving header to put the Blues level with Brighton and Hove Albion. Yui Hasegawa then scored a second to put the Blues ahead. Brighton's keeper Chimaka Nadozie kept the Brighton side in the game with some amazing saves, however it simply just wasn't enough. The game finished 2-1 and City took all 3 points. A second game on Friday night, we saw West Ham host Arsenal at their home ground in Dagenham. West Ham took an early lead after a mistake from Van Domselaar which resulted in an own goal. However, Arsenal did not mess around and were quick to turn the game on its head. Marnham equalised and both teams went into half-time with a goal each. After half-time, both teams came out fighting. However, after just 7 minutes, Blackstenius scored a goal to put the red side ahead. Arsenal's goals didn't just stop there. Caitlin Ford slotted one home before Alessia Russo scored a brace in just 3 minutes of added time. The Reds came out on top, winning 5-1 over the West Ham side. We then saw LCL take on Manchester United. United came out strong and had 2 shots saved within the first 2 minutes of the match. An early mistake from Yana Fernandez in just the second minute gave United a penalty in which captain May Letitia struck home on her 100th appearance and United took the lead. United had many chances but just couldn't convert them. On her 50th appearance, Jade Riviere then scored an absolute screamer, leaving the fans shook as she kissed the badge, a true red. After half-time, the Red side came out even stronger and it wasn't long before they bagged a few more. Melvin Mellard scored a brace within the first 5 minutes of the second half. She's looking a strong contender for the WSL Golden Boot after her start to this season. However, unfortunately, in the 61st minute, Millie Turner was forced off through what looked to be a serious knee injury, sending her plenty of love and hoping for a speedy recovery. Former United player Nikita Paris then managed to bag a goal against her former club, making her just the second ever player to score for 6 different WSL clubs. However, the Reds weren't done there. We saw Fridolina Rolfo make her debut and as so made a beautiful assist for Jess Park as she placed the ball nicely in the top left corner. The game finished 5-1, which sees United remain top of the WSL table after week 2. We then saw Everton face Tottenham Hotspur. And now, after Everton's ace win on the opening weekend, most would have expected them to come out strong. However, despite this, they struggled to convert any crosses into goals and failed to score at all. Tottenham took the lead after 28 minutes and then scored another during the second half. Tottenham had around 19 shots on goal compared to Everton's 10, however, only managed to score 2 of those. It's also been noted that Tottenham appear to have the best defensive record so far, only having 1 shot on target after 2 game weekends. It appeared to be quite a scrappy game with 18 total fouls and it just didn't appear to be Everton's day. Tottenham came out on top and the game finished 2-0. We then saw Chelsea take on Aston Villa at Villa Park where Aggie Beever-Jones gave the Blues an early lead. However, Ebony Salmon with a rocket from outside the box put the Villains level at half-time. Chelsea had a few big chances during the second half and one from Kira Walsh put the Blues ahead. We then saw Sam Kerr make an emotional return to the Blue side after being sidelined for 21 months. And what a return she had, scoring another goal for Chelsea during stoppage time, just showing the player that she is. The game finished 3-1 to Chelsea. Finally, we saw Liverpool take on Leicester City at the King Power Stadium. The game appeared to be pretty slow for both sides and both teams went in 0-0 at half-time. However, in the 56th minute, a second yellow saw Shannon O'Brien forced to leave the pitch. Leicester, however, swiftly acted upon this and just 3 minutes later we saw Emily Van Egmond slot one home for Leicester. This saw them lead 1-0. Liverpool did everything in their power to try and get an equaliser, however it just didn't appear to be their day. The game ended 1-0 and the Leicester side took all 3 points. Again, lots of positive performances. However, my player of the round goes to Melvin Mallard after her brace this weekend against London City Lionesses. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.